All right, guys, today we are talking about simplified ratios, and that is a ratio in its most reduced terms or most reduced numbers. Simplified ratios have no common factors. That is so important that simplified ratios have no common factors, meaning we're going to have to go back to using GCF and our divisibility rules. So let's look at example one. We want to know the ratio of triangles to circles in its most simplest form. So Harlem has her bag of triangles and circles. And we want to write that in its most simplest form. So the first thing we want to do is figure out what is the ratio of triangles to circles. Well, if I count it out, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 circles, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 circles and 4 triangles. So my ratio of triangles to circles is 4 to 12. And I'm going to draw it out so I can see it visually. I have 4 triangles with 12 circles. That looks like a lot. And I noticed that both 4 and 12 are even numbers. I want to break this ratio down into its simplest terms, meaning the 4 triangles and 12 circles have no common factors. Well, the first thing we can do is see if I can figure out what would I get if I had one triangle. If I break this into groups to have one triangle, that means I would break this into 4 different groups. So I'm going to put one triangle here, 3 and 4. So I've listed out my 4 triangles. Now that means I need to break my circles into groups of 4. I'm going to break my circles into groups of 4. 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, 3 here. So I broke them into 1, 2, 3, 4 groups. Well, if we notice, each group has 3 circles. So what we just did here is we simplified our ratio using a picture. That means for every one circle, there are 3 triangles. That means that these two ratios are equivalent and simplified. 1 and 3 have no common factors. So that means my most simplified ratio of 4 to 12 is 1 to 3. All right, let's look at our next example. We are treading into some simple word problems. It says there are 20 girls and 16 boys on the bus. Write the ratio of girls to boys in simplest form. Well, the first thing I need to write is the ratio of girls to boys. And we want to remember that this is a part-to-part ratio because I'm comparing the number of girls to the number of boys. Well, there are 20 girls, and I'm going to use G for girls, and 16 boys. I'm going to use B for boys. I want to simplify this ratio. And the method that I'm going to use is a proportion. I'm going to write 20G over 16B. I put my equal sign in my units. I need to figure out how can I simplify this fraction or ratio right here where this ratio will have no common terms. I need to think, what do 20 and 16 have in common? Well, I know they're both even, so I'm going to divide by 2. I'm going to take 16 and I'm going to divide by 2. Well, 16 divided by 2, that gives me 8. 20 divided by 2 gives me 10. So I now have 10 girls for every 8 boys. But 10 and 8 are both, they're still even. So I think I can keep simplifying. So I'm going to try and simplify again. I know that 10 and 8 are both even, so I'm going to try and divide by 2 again. Well, 10 divided by 2 gives me 5. 8 divided by 2 gives me 4. I think I got it now. Because 5 and 4 have no common factors. 5 is a prime number, and the only factors of 4 are 2 and 1. So that means the most simplified ratio for girls to boys in this situation is 5 girls to 4 boys. We've also could have noticed it from the beginning and simply divided by 4 on both sides. But that also comes with skill and practice by using our divisibility rules. Again, our most simplified fraction or simplified ratio is 5 girls to 4 boys.